Math Marvels, in this lesson we're going to compare unit rates using math. So let's jump into one multiple choice problem and an open response. We're going to use raise and solve today. Sarah can ride her bicycle 3 miles in 15 minutes. At this rate, how many miles can she ride in 50 minutes? So we've read the problem. This is absolutely an RP problem. My keyword was the word rates. And our key information is we have this rate 3 to 15, and this is miles to minutes. And we're trying to figure out at 50. So my strategy, I'm going to use math to calculate miles at 50 minutes. But let's also see if we can do some elimination work here. So let's start with my table. We know our units. Miles and minutes. And we have 3 and 15. And we want to figure out at the 50-minute mark how many miles. This is our X. Now, you just looking at this, I don't see a multiplicative pattern. There's no way I can multiply by 15 to get 50. But I do know some things. Like I know that, let's see if I can estimate. I know that 15 times 3 would give me 45. So whatever I would multiply by, it would be bigger than 3. And I know that 3 times 4 would give 60. So whatever my number is here, whatever it would be, it would somehow be between 3 and 4. So just think about it from 3 to get a range. So let's get a range so we can eliminate some stuff here. If I had 3 miles and we multiply by 3, we would get 9. If I had 3 miles and multiply by 4, we would get 12. So my answer is going to be somewhere between 9 and 12. So I'm definitely going to eliminate 20 and 15 because those are too many miles. It is outside of my range for right now. And I know it has to be less than 12 because, well, I know that 15 times 4 is 60, which would be too many because it will go past the 50. So I know that it has to be less than 3 times 4. It has to be more than 3 times 3. So I've eliminated 2, and I can probably eliminate the 5 as well because it's too small, but I want to double check with my work and just make sure. I'm pretty sure, but let's cross multiply and make a number sentence. So 15 times x, which would be 15x, 15 times the number, and 3 times 50 is 150. Let's write this down as an equation. So 15 times a number gives me 150. So let's use our math facts and turn this into a division sentence. 15 times something makes 150. So 150 divided by 15 would give us that number. And that is something we can figure out, Math Marvels. 150 divided by 15 would give us 10. X is equal to 10 miles. And yep, our hunch was right. 15 was too short. This is our correct answer, 10 miles. So fantastic job. We were able to eliminate using some great critical thinking. Let's hit pause so you can jot this one down into our notes. And we'll jump into our next problem. Let's read through this problem, and this is actually 2 problems, not just one. A small plane flew 1,200 miles in 3 minutes. At this rate, how far will it travel in 2 hours? And a small plane flew 240 miles in 2 minutes. At this rate, how long will it travel in 600 miles? So what are they basically asking? In the first one, what distance can the jet plane fly in 2 hours? And the second one, how long will it take the small plane to fly 600 miles? So I'm going to do these separately so we can see both of them. Here are facts for the jet plane. We have this ratio. And this is what we know about the smaller plane. And notice that our time units are different. So in one we have minutes, and in the second one we have hours. So we want to just make sure that we're accounting for that in our problem. And so here's my plan. We're going to use math to organize both situations. We're going to cross multiply to set up an equation. And then we're going to use algebra to calculate the unknown in the situation. And to do that, we have to turn our multiplication sentence into a division sentence using our math facts. So that's going to be our plan. We're going to do this in 2 different pages. So hit pause so you can jot this down in your notes, and then we'll verify our plan. We're going to look at both situations, but I'm going to give ourselves a lot of room. So I have the first situation with the jet plane on one page, and I'm going to have the small plane on another to give us a lot of space for these numbers. So let's start with the jet plane, and let's put in our miles, 1200 in 3 minutes. And we will need to figure out in 2 hours, but again, I'm going to convert this to 120 minutes. So we made that change. We're going to try and figure out this number. So we're going to cross multiply in order to figure out our equation. And we have 3 times the number. And I know 12 times 12 is 144. And we have 3 zeros behind it. So we have 144,000 is equal to, let's write this down. 3 times the number is equal to 144,000. And we're going to rewrite this as a division sentence, 144,000 divided by 3. It's going to give us that number. So I'm going to actually do the long division in this case, and that's why I gave us a lot of space, a lot of room. And remember, just like before, every digit should have a digit, whatever's inside here should have a digit up top. So I have 6 digits here, so I want 6 digits up here, even if it is 0. And 3 does not go into 1, but it goes into 14 4 times 12. That gives us 24. 3 goes into 24 8 times. And now I'm just going to end up with a 0, a 0, and 0. So our first answer is 48,000 miles. Let's put that as a full sentence. The jet plane travels 48,000 miles in 2 hours, parentheses, or 120 minutes. Now, why did I put that in parentheses? Because our work was based on the 120, and I want anybody who looks at our work to understand where that 120 comes from when I wrote about 2 hours. So I just did that conversion there. So hit pause so you can jot this one down. And let's do one more. Now it's the second situation with the small jet plane that went 240 miles. And in this case, because my units are in hours, I'm going to put, instead of minutes, just the 2 hours. And I want to know when it goes 600 miles. And this made sense to me because if I realized that if I put 120 minutes, I would have huge numbers here. And we're going to figure out this number. So let's cross multiply to figure out our cross products. 2 times 600 is 1200. And 240 times the number is 240 times that number. So here's our equation. 240 times a number is 1,200. Rewrite it as division. 1,200 divided by 240 equals that number. Giving us some space again, so we can divide. And again, so we're going to have 4 digits in our quotient. So 240 cannot go into 1, cannot go into 2, cannot go into 120. And so how many times can it go into 1,200? Now, if this is not something you can do in your head, which at first, when I was in 6th grade, I couldn't do it in my head. I would sometimes write the numbers on the side and just start adding. So 240, that would be times 1, plus another 240 is 480. And I would add another one, so this would just be if it was just times 2. I'm just gonna put that there, and I'm gonna add another 240, and that gives me 720. So this would be 240 times 3. And I'll add another 240, and that's 960. This would be times 4, getting closer to 1,200. And I would add another 240. There it is, 1,200. So this would be times 5. So it would be 5 times. So that would be the little trick I would have on the side to skip count. So there we have it. We have 5, and our unit is hours. So a small plane travels 240 miles in 5 hours. So there you go. We have all our work. We used math to show our ratio proportions, and we were able to figure this out using our number sentence and some division work. So that's it for today, Math Marvels. We're able to use our rates and math to figure out some new units and that we're missing in the problem. That's it for today. Get some practice in. You're going to sometimes see big numbers. You may have to use a calculator for some, but even if you do, make sure you show all your work and make it visible on the page. That's it for today. I'll see you next time. Take care.